Hello, I'm Shannon O'Brien. I'm a behavioral health provider here at One Community Health, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about scrolling, and sometimes we get into those spells of doom scrolling. These are some ways that you can think about how to improve that habit and reasons why it could be helpful and it could not be helpful. All right, let's talk about why people do it, because remember, everything that we do usually has an answer. So why we scroll? It's really because it's a dopamine rush. It gives us that satisfaction of receiving information, completing that, and moving on to the next thing. It also gives us sometimes a sense of connection. It gives us a distraction, and it usually helps with coping with just some period of time where we have a little bit of downtime. We maybe just want to think about something that's different than what we're thinking about, or we're bored, and so sometimes there are reasons why we do it. In this video, I really want you to come away with knowing that doing something doesn't mean that it's bad or good. It's more about noticing how it influences how you feel in your body, your mind, and your breath. And then noticing if it's too much, too little, or how you can have more of a balanced approach rather than a right or wrong. Okay, and why can doom scrolling not be helpful or can backfire? A couple reasons. It's overstimulating. It also can be re-traumatizing. There's a lot of information on social media that as humans we weren't really meant to see that happening in real time, such as different traumas that we see on social media. It can increase your worry and impact your mental health, and it also can result in a dopamine crash. You notice that when you're doom scrolling, in the beginning you might feel engaged, you might feel present, and then there is a period of time where you transition to zoning out or daydreaming or feeling like you're not even sure what you're watching anymore. And sometimes that is a dopamine crash. Or sometimes you just look at your phone and you doom scroll too much that the dopamine never hits because it's just over consumed and it doesn't have a time to kind of replenish and then refill. The other reason why doom scrolling with social media can impact you is because you might be left with feeling more distracted, less sense of calm, and more anxious or an increased worry. So what are some healthy coping alternatives to doom scrolling? Some might include using mindfulness instead. So when you notice that you reach for your phone, you go for social media, it might be that moment of pause and asking yourself, what am I really needing right now? Is it a break? Is it a breathing exercise? Is it a moment for connection? Is it a hug? And so that mindfulness can really help us to ask ourselves, what are we really needing when we reach for our phone and go to doom scroll? And keep it simple. Don't make the mindfulness too complex. You don't have to look up on your phone a mindfulness exercise. It really can just be that moment of looking in the sky, looking at the tree that you're by, looking at the ground, looking at the clouds. So just keep it simple. Mindfulness really just means coming back to the present moment with whatever anchor you choose. You might notice that you doom scroll when you're having a lot of thoughts. And so it might be more helpful instead of doom scrolling to journal and write out those thoughts. And again, that can help with really identifying that you needed to process something rather than avoiding it with scrolling on social media. You might notice that you scroll because you want more of a creative expression. And so to turn that into a creative expression that might be more healthy, you might use art, you might paint, you might take out a coloring book, and that might actually help you to feel more calm rather than the impact that scrolling has on your nervous system. You could use any guided visualization, and that could be the other video that we did on Leaves on a Stream is a guided visualization, or you could just use something where you're imagining yourself in a calm place, at the beach, at a peaceful place, anything that helps you to take a break in your mind. And lastly, you might use physical movement. You could stretch a little bit, you could walk, you could move your body, shake it out, anything that helps you to get some of that physical movement rather than feeling dormant by just doom scrolling. And we all do it. So what are the wise ways to scroll when we do it? 1, limit your amount of time that you're scrolling by using some time limits on your phone. You could also set a timer at the start of your scrolling, and then when it goes off, you can stop. The other piece is planning your scrolling time. So making sure that if you are going to scroll, you're doing it at a time where you're taking in the information rather than doing it at times where you're trying to relax, such as when you're trying to go to bed, when you're winding down to get ready for the end of the night, when you're waking up. Those are periods of time that are really important for how you're going to start your day or end your day. So using some of the other healthy ways to do that could be more beneficial. The last piece is to Curate your feed. Add your feed with positive information rather than it only having negative information. We want to make sure that we notice when information is making us feel more negative, and that if we are wanting to stay aware and consume that negative information, we are just taking a little bit of time to do that, and then making sure that our whole feed isn't just negative, that it does have more positive stuff in there for us to feel hopeful. So with this video, I hope that you gathered some strategies to support you in if you want to scroll and how to scroll wisely, and ways to use alternatives to maybe more healthy coping skills besides scrolling. The bottom line is we all scroll, and sometimes it is a very helpful coping strategy. So again, it's not good or bad, but the question is really, how can we do it more wisely so that we are supporting ourselves holistically and making sure that we can still feel hopeful after we consume the information we do?